Welcome all. You know what time it is. It's Friday evening. Unbelievably, already another week has passed in NBA action. I am Dexter Henry here for NBA Picks and Props, another edition. We're going to get right into things today. My guys with me. First up, my man Brian Fonseca, who has to let everybody know when and where he's taking a break, especially if that is going to the bathroom. Yo, B, what's up, man?
I just had to take a piss before the show. I just wanted to let y'all know that I was here, and I just what why are you shaking your head?
Nobody wanted to know that. No, nobody wanted to know any of this.
I just felt like
this often.
I just felt like being a team player in the moment that I was gonna be. I was here. I was gonna be right with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I was doing my thing, and I had to get ready for the show.
Thank you for that. Also here, my man Murph, rocking the Mets hat today, which we always like to see. Spring training, we're here. Spring training is here. Pitchers and catchers reported. You excited, Murph, about these Mets?
Yeah, of course. I'm always excited. Before the season starts. Definitely.
I like that you had the distinction before the season starts because that absolutely matters. And last but not least, a man I just saw a couple of hours ago, my man Gerard Hector. We were talking about some weather stuff and whether people care about a 40-degree day or not. And Gerard, what did you tell the people? Give them a preview of the story I'm working on. What did you tell the people about caring about a 40-degree day?
Don't nobody give a fuck about 40.
Yo, to be clear, Gerard did not say that in the AccuWeather interview. There's a much toned down version of that that people will see. Otherwise, I'd probably lose my job. We'd like to say what's up to Eric Chang. Eric, man, where were you last week? We did not see you, hear you. We missed you. We're glad that you're back this week to talk, have some NBA basketball with us. Eric Chang says Mets tied with the Braves at plus 50 to win the NL East. LFGM. Yo,
man.
We'll
Mets,
circle back to that in April. We'll circle back to that in April. We
good, Murph. We got Cohen now spending all the money. Yo, man, we here now. Legit.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be ready for that Props Network MLB content. That's definitely coming soon. All right, guys, let's get into it. First topic tonight, we're going to talk about a man that is very close to Brian Fonseca's heart, and that is Luka Doncic.
He's your favorite player, not mine.
Guys, I want all the viewers of the show. I hope everybody realizes that Brian is very quick to jump on how Luka is my favorite player, but still refuses to admit that he is a Miami Heat fan. When we all know that is true.
We'll talk about them later. Trust me.
Yeah, we'll talk about them. We will. We'll talk about them later. Now, Luka Doncic, he's been killing it this month. Pretty good. Mavericks have been much better after a slow start. 7 out of the last 10 they have won. They're a game under 500 heading into tonight. They're a game and a half out of the A seed. We saw some Luka magic, if people call that a thing. That was on Tuesday against the Celtics. Hit some incredibly clutch shots. But the biggest improvement that we've been talking about in the beginning of the season when everybody had him as a MVP contender was his shot selection didn't look good. Now, Mavericks have been ravaged by COVID. His three-point shooting is up. He's at just under 45% from downtown this month. He's now just under 35 for the season, which is pretty respectable. Now, this season, a lot of people, as I said before, picked him for MVP. He's now starting to play a little bit better. The Mavericks have won some games. They're close to 500. Is in the MVP race, and in terms of betting, would you put some money on him now? Brian, since you hate Luka so much, we'll start with you. You putting any money on Luka?
For MVP, absolutely not. He's not even in my top 5 right now, and I just don't think that the Mavericks are going to be good enough to where he's going to be able to win MVP. I just don't. I think he's going to have the numbers. He'll probably stay at where he's at all season long, 28, 8, and 9. I just don't see it coming where he's actually going to win MVP over some of the other guys we've seen. Now, I mean, LeBron James right now, I thought that he was in the lead at some point this year. They're on a 4-game losing streak. Now you're seeing them without Anthony Davis, and it's sort of unraveling a little bit. But I still think that someone like him will be ahead of Luka because of where the Mavs are in the standings. And there are some other guys right now. Still, my front runner has been Joel Embiid for pretty much the entire season so far. And I just don't see Luka, unless the Mavs go on a crazy run, and they would probably have to trade Kristaps Porzingis to do so. Hot take. Then, I don't think it's going to happen.
So the odds for Luka to win MVP, pretty interesting. You can get him as low as plus 900 on BetMGM, high as plus 1,200 on DraftKings. So it's interesting. He's kind of, the consensus has him about fourth right now in terms of odd. He's actually ahead of Stephen Curry in terms of odds that we can see, which is a little bit interesting there. Okay, Brian, you're not buying. Gerard, are you? Would you be willing to get in on some Luka action for maybe a mid to late season push for that MVP?
I mean, look, it depends on what you're trying to do here, right? If you've got a pot of money, let's say you got $1,000 and you're like, all right, this is my gambling allotment, and I want to see and potentially throw some cash down on a long shot, right? At plus 1,200, right? That's some of the highest odds you can get. Why not? It's pretty decent value. In terms of him, do I think he'll win it? No, I don't think he's got to leapfrog LeBron. He's got to leapfrog Joel Embiid. He's got to leapfrog Jokic. Look, Jokic, with all stats being equal, the best player in the league right now, right? So I don't think he's going to have the wins and what is necessary. But let's say Dallas goes on one of those runs and they sneak into that 6 seed, because again, everybody else is bunched around 3 to 5 game separation. They get hot here, win 10, 12 games in a row. Next thing you know, they're in the thick of things in that 4 or 5 range. People might start talking again. So I think if you want to, as a long shot, throw some of your allotment down, why not? Do I think he'll actually win it? No.
Jamal, you heard Gerard talk about where he might need to go, and I thought that was interesting, maybe getting up to that 4 or 5 range. One, do you see the Mavericks even possibly doing that? And then two, you're shaking your head no. The initial question is, is it worth, if you got some money, like Gerard said, if you got a G to put down, is it worth doing that to put on Luka Doncic right now, or should your money be spent elsewhere in the MVP race?
Yeah, I think your money should be spent elsewhere. We all know Luka Doncic is a great player. Gaudy averaging 29, 8, and 9. Yes, Dallas is playing better. 7 and 3 in their last 10, but they're still not even a playoff team yet. So no, I don't see them, getting into that top 4 or 5 in the West, and that even 4 or 5 might be stretching in terms of an MVP candidate. He might need to get in the top 3. So they're like you mentioned. I think there are guys even with better odds in terms of what you can win that I would put money on, like a Steph Curry, for instance. If you're talking about a team that's not going to be in the top 5 in the West, if I had to pick a player that maybe could win MVP in that situation, I'd probably lean towards Steph Curry over Doncic. Yeah, I just don't see it. Maybe next year for Luka.
maybe next year. Well, I would ask Brian if he has more to say on Luka, but I would assume he probably does not.
Trade Kristaps Porzingis. Then we can start having a different conversation. They got to trade Kristaps Porzingis first. We're already seeing reports about his brother's a dick, which we already knew from New York. Like, come on, man.
Actually, I didn't know that, but thank you for breaking that news.
Oh, Quentin Mayo on Twitter. Like, somebody was, an NBA agent was complaining about Kristaps Porzingis' brother, and it's like, yeah, this is why I didn't kill the Knicks when they actually made that trade. I was laughing at Dexter because I thought it was funny, but I didn't kill the Knicks when they made that trade. And now look, Dallas is probably going to trade Porzingis within the next year, which actually might help Luka's MVP odds if they can get some talent and some guys around him that just fit better.
Well, guys, you know where they're going to trade Porzingis to? The Miami Heat. Moving on to the next segment. We're going to talk about our Friday night games. Some interesting games this first game. I can't wait to talk to Gerard about this because first game, Indiana Pacers versus the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, who have been struggling. They are favored in this game at home, -3. Over under for this matchup is at 222. Now, Gerard, start with you first. I know that you like the Pacers. You like watching Miles Turner, your boy Sabonis, who now is a replacement for the All-Star game. I know you like how that team plays, and I also know how much you love the Boston Celtics and the amazing coaching of Brad Stevens. Right? I know you love them. The Boston Celtics right now, people, let's put things in perspective. They are 15-17. They've lost 3 in a row. They have lost 7 out of their last 10. They are not trending in the right direction. This game seems like I won't say a must-win, but it's kind of necessary for them at home right now as we approach our All-Star break. How are you betting this game, Boston fan Gerard Hector? How are you betting this game?
Well, as always, I got to stick to the bit. Fuck the C's. Look, I'm disappointed in Boston, right? Like, all jokes aside, like, they've been middling all year. I know Marcus Smart's been out. That's been problematic. But, Kemba's been up and down. I figured Tatum and Brown, good enough. You got two young wings to carry them, and they've just been so inconsistent. I mean, if you look at all their stats, they are a middle-of-the-road team. They're about 14th or 15th in every relevant stat, which is middle of the road. And that's what their record says. Now, it ain't like Indiana's been, like, lighting the world on fire, but they are 9th in adjusted defensive rating. I love the under in this game, so I think both teams will guard pretty well. Tatum and Brown could go off and win you a game, so the point spread, I'm kind of like, meh, but I like the under here.
Like the under here. Note that we have with people looking in terms of how Boston struggled. They've really struggled since Marcus Smart has been out. They're still rehabbing that left calf injury, hoping to return after the All-Star break. They are missing him badly. They definitely need him. But you also would think the great coaching of Brad Stevens should be able to figure this thing out.
I mean, he invented basketball.
Basketball. Murph, how are you liking this matchup? Do you see Boston continuing to struggle, especially as much as they have offensively, or like the Pacers to pull this upset?
Well, you look at this Boston -3. It's hard. How can you bet on Boston right now? The way they're playing, they look terrible, but that also means they're kind of due. They're desperate to win a game, and as everybody says, with their team back to the wall, how could the best coach ever to coach in the history of basketball? How could they lose 4 in a row? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta go with Boston to snap out of it this week. I agree with the Marcus Smart thing. Like, he's a huge loss. Really, I mean, we know how he plays. He plays defense. He's gritty. He's tough. He adds toughness to the team. Without him, they're not tough at all. They barely have any size. They're undersized as far as big men are concerned. You look at Indiana, as Gerard said, Indiana's not much better. They're flying under the radar. Not much better. They're 500. Boston is 2 games under 500. This is Boston is the more desperate team here, as I said earlier. So I would if I had to pick, I would stay away because of how badly Boston is playing. But if I had to pick between these two teams, this game tonight, I would take Boston.
You would go with Boston there. All right, Brian, you're somebody who loves Marcus Smart. You love the way he plays. This team is missing them. What's your thoughts on this matchup tonight?
I mean, but even with that, like, just real quick, just big picture Boston stuff as I'm looking through these numbers, like, their bench is ass. Holy shit. I'm just looking through the numbers right now, and it's like there's a reason that they're relying on Peyton Pritchard so much, who's a rookie who's actually come in and played pretty well. But I think beyond that, obviously you need to get more from Kemba Walker, who, as Gerard said, has been up and down, though he's been more down and up and inconsistent. And what worries me is that he was healthy throughout the first whatever amount of years of his career. Ever since the knee injury, he hasn't been the same. He's allegedly fully recovered now. The concern is that going forward with small guards, how is he going to be able to hold up? And it's not really looking too good, and that drop could come fast, as we know. But beyond that, yes, they miss Marcus Smart. But they also still need room, or they need guys on the interior who can produce. And Tristan Thompson is not doing quite what I thought he was going to do. Daniel Tice is just Daniel Tice, and that's not really a good thing. And like, they could use an Andre Drummond, but I'm not sure how conducive that is to winning, though I think he would be a better fit there. As far as this game tonight goes, I agree with Murph in saying that the Celtics are probably due. I'm just hesitant to say that they're going to beat the Pacers, who I really like, who Domantas Sabonis just got the All-Star bid. He's going to fill Kevin Durant's spot, and he's been one of my 5 or 10 favorite players to watch in the league so far this season. I would be looking at him for prop bets, but I also would like Indiana in this game to win, to cover, and do all that. And as far as the over-under, I would probably lean under, but that portion of it is probably a stay away from me because that's tight. Like, that's not a true, like a real high-scoring game in today's NBA. You're basically looking at a 115, 105 can cover that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
It's probably a stay away from me, though I would feel more comfortable going under if I absolutely had to choose gun to the head, knife to the throat.
Gun to the head, knife to the throat. Typical Brian reaction. Looking at the splits is interesting. Murph, you said nobody. How can you really bet on the Celtics right now? But it's seeing 67% of the bets in terms of the point spread on the Celtics tonight. in terms of the total points. More of that action is towards the Pacers, 87%. And for the money line, it's 53% Pacers and 47% for the Celtics. So pretty interesting. People still believing in the seas, I guess. We don't as much.
Brad Stevens, baby.
That Brad Stevens effect. That's the Brad Stevens effect. All right, guys. Next matchup is the team with the best record in the league, the Utah Jazz. And they are in South Beach to take on Brian's Miami Heat. Now, the consensus line on this has the Jazz favored at 6.5, -6.5. The over-under consensus for this is 218. You know we're going to start with here. We're going to start with Brian because, of course, he's going to pick a Miami Heat win. Of course, it's going to be gritty. They're going to tough it out. Bam Adebayo is going to have like 50 points, and Jimmy Butler will have another 67. This is what Brian wants.
Yeah, 40 not that long ago.
Yeah, see, I've set him up, and I've hyped him up already for this. Brian, obviously, a Heat not the favorites. They've struggled, but they've been getting things right back on track as of late, as we talked about. How do you see this matching up, and are you putting your money on the Heat tonight?
I'm not sure if they're going to win. I would feel good about them covering because 5.5, was a little like I can see this coming down to the wire and being a one-possession game. The first time they played each other, the Heat basically got ran off the floor. It was one of their worst losses in recent games. Since Jimmy Butler's come back from COVID, they've been 9-5, though Tyler Hero is apparently out. Obviously, Avery Bradley has yet to come back, and Goran Dragic just got back. He had 15 points in only like 21 minutes last time out, but he only shot 4 for 13. So we'll see. They're going to need him against Utah, and we don't know if Bam Adebayo is going to play. So with all that being said, I'm probably going to deem this a stay away because there's so much in the air in terms of injuries and things of that nature. But look, Jimmy Butler's been averaging like 29-9 since he got back from COVID. He's been all-star level, and he's somebody who I think can really push this into a Heat victory if he does what he has been doing lately. But I wouldn't feel great about that given the injury stuff that's around him. So
pushing them to a Heat victory. Not shocked at those words from
they're home. They're home, and Utah's not that good. They're not.
Wow.
In terms of being the best record in the NBA, Utah's not they're not when I watch them and they're playing well, whatever. But also we got to remember about the Jazz. It's the same thing I said last time. They just happen to be healthy, whereas other teams are not fully healthy. And sooner or later, that shit, and they have the second easiest schedule going forward after this All-Star break. So, we're going to see them probably, lose in the second round of the playoffs against a 4 seed or something like that. That's what's going to end up happening. They're tailor-made to be one of those teams like the Atlanta Hawks a few years ago, great in the regular season, and then just fall short in the playoffs. And then we're going to look back and be like, wow, how stupid were we to think Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell were going to win the championship for LeBron James and whoever else.
Wow. I mean, a lot of disrespect there for the Jazz. Murph, are you disrespecting the Jazz this much, or are you respecting the best record in the league, that -6.5? Are you respecting the Jazz at all tonight?
Yeah, I'm not going to disrespect the Jazz to that extent. Brian, he just killed him. I mean, that was rough. He had me thinking they were the Sacramento Kings or something. But
I couldn't tell the difference there.
No, but I was ready to. Miami's been playing better. They seem like obviously I knew they would come around at some point. They put it together a little bit. 7-3 in the last 10, 6-4 against the spread in the last 10. But with these injuries, I mean, without Bam is hurt. All these guys hurt. How I can't take them now. I was ready to take the money line. If it weren't for the injuries, just take a flyer on the money line because I thought it'd be a close game. But with them being decimated by injuries, Utah, one thing they do is take care of business and win the games that they should win. And if Miami is not at full strength, they should win this game. So based on that, I'm gonna take Utah and the -5.5. I mean, best record in the league. We know it doesn't mean anything. I mean, it doesn't mean that much in terms of playoff success. But this is a regular season game, so they're in their element right here. So I don't see how you go against them. 9-1 last 10, 9-1 against the spread last 10 against a hurt Miami team. You got to go Utah here.
I feel like you have to. 91% of the money in terms of the point spread on Utah, 80% of the bets there as well too. So People are believing in Utah, at least for this game. Maybe they're not hating as much as Brian is.
If Rudy Gobert touches another microphone, they're gonna win like 2 games in 2 games.
Here
All
we
right,
go.
like
There
this
we
is
go.
what it is. They just been healthy, and other teams haven't been healthy.
Here we go.
There we go.
Now Rudy Gobert spread COVID-19. All
Freaking
right.
patient zero. Nah, he's patient zero now. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. What? I mean, that's some hate. That's some real hate. But you can see, folks, this is for people to see. This is a Miami Heat fan. There's nothing
100%.
100%. Gerard, are you with the people seeing a lot of action with the Jazz? Are you with the people on this saying, hey, you got to go with the Jazz in this game? There's a lot of action, and whether it's the spread, spread or the money line, there's a lot of action with them here. Are you also going Team Jazz here?
Look, you have to be realistic as what this is. Brian, was a Heat fan, so he's wilding over here, talking about how the Jazz ain't that good.
He also hates Utah, for the
right, and he hates Utah, a place he's never been
in
to.
terms of a championship, only in terms of a championship.
Now, here's the thing: we're talking about tonight against the Miami Heat, a regular season game. The Jazz. To be fair about Miami, in their 4-game winning streak, they have been 12th in offensive rating, very good. 4th in defensive rating, both adjusted. Pretty good. You know who's been number 1? The Utah Jazz by a wide margin. Number 1 adjusted net rating, which means we take into account whom you're playing. Are you playing crappy teams? You're playing good teams. We ding you for that, for a crappy team, bump you up if you're playing against a good team. And the Jazz are better than everybody by second place team, 4 points behind them. The Jazz are excellent. They're going to beat Miami tonight. Easy. Take them with the point spread. No problem. Let's move on.
Wow. That's pretty clear. Brian, do you have any rebuttal to tell people why they should still take the Heat? Any hope?
Benny the Butcher's dropping plugs. I met 2 in March, so that was pretty cool. I just saw that on my phone.
Thank you for that. You plugged his new project coming up. Yeah, I think with obviously too much going on injury wise for Miami, Utah's been playing well. They're rolling. They look like a well-oiled machine. I think
one other note for the Jazz.
Yes.
They might have a racist GM, so they're going to rally around that and try to win tonight to put that behind them.
Ooh. Yeah. Well,
this is why I don't be caping for Utah teams.
I was trying to think, have we seen anything like that before, Gerard? Where a team will rally behind that. Usually they're trying to run away from the racism. Like
I'm sure it's happened in football.
Yeah, the Knicks do it all the time.
Touche.
Oh shit.
Well said, Murph. Well said. All right, guys. On to the next game. I think you got to go with Utah on that one. I think it's gonna be too strong. All right, this is probably maybe the marquee matchup of the night. I don't know how great it is because there's some injuries affecting one team, but the Trailblazers will be in LA to take on the Lakers. The Lakers, despite struggling, they've lost 4 in a row. They are still the favorites here at -5.5. Let me just double check on that to see there's been no movement on that line. It's now at -5. All right, guys, the over-under here is 222. Lake Show's been struggling without AD. This would seem like a game where they absolutely need to get a win, especially at home. They want to right the ship, turn things around, waiting for Dennis Schroeder to come back as well, too. That's been one of their things that have hurt them as far as their depth. Gerard, I'll start with you. Does the Lake Show turn this around, or is it Damian Lillard? Which a lot of people probably have been talking about him for MVP, but definitely deserves some consideration. Does he go crazy tonight against the Lakers?
I mean, they're both kind of limping into the All-Star break right now, both teams. I mean, the Lakers struggle with City, 29th in offense during this losing streak. Again, small sample size, but they've been looking bad. No LeBron out here saying he ain't tired, whatever, things are good. Nah, bro, you looking real tired. And again, we talked about that, right? 71-day break before they turn this back around. Started the season well, but it's hard to play high-level basketball and sustain it when you're playing literally every other night. Look, LeBron could easily summon up a superhuman performance tonight, get everybody locked in on D and do what they got to do. It is an ESPN game, so they're going to be on TV. He's got Dame, so he might get up for that. But look, without Anthony Davis and without Dennis Schroeder, defensively, this team's got a problem. You got to play Alex Caruso more minutes. And while he's good and we like what he does, he's good in the way in which he's able to be optimized, right? When the team is fully healthy. To me, I like the over in this. I just think that neither team's going to play enough defense. I see a lot of scores, a lot of points being put up. I like Damian Lillard in any kind of prop bet. LeBron, take a look at what he's got too on the points, rebounds, assists, triple-double watch.
All right, keep an eye on that with the prop bets. A lot of good action. I want to make a note here when you're looking at the action on this game. This is one of the more interesting games to look at for tonight. Lakers, they're the favorite here, right? But only 21% of the money and 27% of the bets are on the Lakers. So that's 79 and 73 the other way to the Blazers. A lot of people can see the Blazers either pulling off the upset or winning against that point spread where it's only -5. So it's really interesting. Brian, do you give the Blazers and your boy Dame Lillard, do you give them a chance here? Do you like them like a lot of people seem to in terms of the point spread here on this bet? Do you like the Trailblazers here?
I'm going back and forth a little bit because I feel like the Lakers are due because they've been so bad lately, or not. Well, no, actually, they were pretty bad against Utah. That was awful. Four-game losing streak. I watched that game. That shit was boring as fuck. 4-game losing streak right now, and the Lakers don't go on 4-game losing streaks, but right now it's because of injuries to Anthony Davis, to Dennis Schroeder. So they're not this bad, but Portland's a team that doesn't give a fuck. Like Carmelo Anthony just had another great game, and he's had like a string of games lately where you're looking at 22, 23, 24. He's doing it efficiently. He's getting his mid-range shots off. He's hitting his three-pointers. Like Carmelo Anthony has given them some life coming off the bench, and Damian Lillard's obviously Damian Lillard. And one of the things I really admire about Damian Lillard is that he doesn't give a fuck who he's playing against, and he's probably going to power Portland to a victory. I would take Portland in this. I would also take the over because I just don't think there's going to be a whole lot of defense. With Portland, there's never any defense. And with the Lakers, without Anthony Davis, there's probably not going to be any defense either. I think this could easily be over 240, and you have a 120. Obviously, it won't end up that way because then it would be a tie. We don't have ties in basketball, but it would be like 122 to 118 or something along those lines. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Wouldn't shock me either in terms of the high scoring. We know this game, Kuzma back Friday night's game against Portland, and Schroeder is also probable for this game. There's been rumors that he would be back tonight. They need him desperately. They have not had any other ball handling on that team. It's been pretty awful. And like as Gerard mentioned, LeBron does look a little fatigued having to handle all those responsibilities. Murph, this seems like a game where is this a game you maybe want to play the money line and take the Blazers? Here in this game, there seems to be a decent amount of action on that. 55% of bets are on the Blazers for the money line. Is this a game you'd want to do that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, if you're gonna take the Blazers with the spread, is 5.5? Yep. You might as well just put
-5 now. Yep.
Yeah, so you might as well take Portland to win the game. It might, and if they're gonna keep it close, they have just a good opportunity to win the game. And like you all been talking about, I mean, the Lakers are just not the Lakers right now. Okay, remember when they traded for AD, they gave up pretty much their whole team besides LeBron. So now AD is gone, and it's just LeBron. Okay, this is not the same Lakers. Okay, this is basically the Lakers pre-AD. Okay, and they weren't that good. And LeBron had to take a whole half a year off, okay, because he was like, nah, we don't have a shot. What am I doing? And that's how I felt when they were playing Utah. Like, I was like, why even play LeBron in a game that you're not going to win anyway? Just sit him so they don't get the satisfaction of beating LeBron, okay, because you're not going to win that game anyway. So, the Lakers are in shambles. They're even, and it's not surprising that the public is kind of slow to recognize this. The Lakers are a national team. Mm-hmm. The Lakers, the last 10 games, 2-8 against the spread. So they haven't adjusted the spread. I don't even think they should be 5-point favorites. Portland is not bad. Portland is 5th in the West right now. Okay, they're not, the 10th seed anymore, just trying to get into the playoffs. They've been playing really well. So I think Portland, is really the better team as they're constituted now. So I'm convincing myself more than I talk. Yeah, I would definitely take Portland and the money line. I saw Eric ask about putting money on LeBron points, rebounds, and assists at 46.5. I would stay away from that because look, even if he goes for 25, 10, and 10, that's not enough. Okay, so I think that's a little too high right there. So I would take Portland and stay away from that LeBron prop.
And the jumper for LeBron, not the 3-ball, not falling right now. Them legs are real tired. He's hitting them shots real short. So I'd watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. It hasn't looked good. I'm with you, Murph, and that's why I asked you. You always bring up playing the money line, and I feel like with the odds plus 175, I'm on the money line. I like the Blazers in this game too. I have not liked what I've seen from the Lakers. I think the Lakers will play hard. I think they'll be desperate. I can see being close, like Brian said. But if I was like, yeah, with the way the point spread is at -5, I too would just put the money on the Blazers. And I think, pretty decent value there in terms of what you can get there if you want to play it safe, so to say. So look out, Blazers could have the upset on the road tonight. And if LeBron continues to look tired, it could be another struggle. Just want to let you guys know. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Everybody sending in the comments and questions. We will get to you on those shortly. Want to encourage everybody watching, please subscribe to the Props Network YouTube channel to get more NBA betting content from us every Friday on NBA Picks and Props. Also, check out all the content that we have across the Props Network YouTube channel. And be sure to check out the Props Network website, where you can see all the different ways that you can get all the odds from all the different betting houses, so you can make the best decisions on how you are going to bet the NBA and so much more. All right, it's that time of night to parlay or not to parlay. Some interesting ones this week, guys. Hopefully none that'll get Brian mad as he is about Utah. Hopefully not. And none of this, actually, in some way involves Utah a little bit. But the first parlay of the night, Zach LaVine, show favorite, Trae Young, and Devin Booker all to score 30-plus points. Team Light Skin, are they going to all get 30 points or more? Plus 750 is the odds here for this parlay. Murph, what do you say about this? These are three guys who can put the ball in the basket. Devin Booker's numbers have been down a little bit this season, which makes it interesting in that regard. Do you like this parlay, yay or nay?
I got to go nay. I got to go against my fellow brotherhood team, light skin, in this one. The odds, yes, plus 750. It's a long shot, but I think it's even a longer shot than that for all three of these guys to drop 30. Booker, LaVine, Booker playing against each other. Will they both drop 30? It's possible. And then you got Trae against OKC. It's just a stay away from me. It just doesn't feel right.
All your fellow light-skinned brothers out there are like, yo, come on, Murph. You're supposed to represent for us on this bet. You're supposed to represent. Eric Shang says he can't do it. So he's with you, Murph. Gerard, are you going to root for Team Light Skin here?
Well, clearly,
no, you can't do it either.
Clearly, I am not Team Light Skin, so I cannot be rolling for these dudes. I mean, look, plus 750, it's the longest of shots, right? I mean, not the longest, but it's pretty unlikely. Look, Book's playing well, obviously. We know Zach LaVine, all-star. Trae Young's the one where we're like, listen, he's playing against the OKC Thunder tonight. SGA might lock him up. They might have some issues on that. To me, it's a stay away, but, it might be a fun thing if you're like, if you want to, have some light skin, dark skin jokes, you might want to do that. But otherwise, nah, man, I am rocking with this.
All right, now we go to the person on the show who is not black, and that is Brian. And although Brian is Puerto Rican and represents it heavily, a little bit closer to the light skin side. So, Brian, you like how these guys can put the ball in the bucket? Are you in on this parlay?
You know what?
You're not gonna be able to do it.
No, hold on. The more that I think about this, because I just pulled up their game logs again. I looked at them earlier today. I just had to refresh my memory. I'm actually gonna take this small amount, but I'm actually gonna take this parlay because, and it's tough because it's weird. We're in a place where I actually feel the most comfortable with Zach LaVine getting 30. Yeah. Which is fucking crazy.
He's mad efficient right now. No.
Yeah, and it's funny. We just had a comment. Soul Stellar 2121 says he thinks LaVine will be the only one to go over 30.
I can see that. But the thing with me is that Devin Booker, until recently, he's picked it up, but until recently hasn't been maybe getting as many touches because Chris Paul has the ball. Obviously, they're still very low in pace, so that lightens the chances of him actually getting to 30. But overall, I just think.
Shout out to our producer Greg for this one. This is how Devin Booker's walking the All-Star game.
Yeah. Overall, I would probably walk in the same way too if I was Devin Booker. But that doesn't surprise you. But overall, I would take this. I would just put a very small amount, 5, 10, something along those lines. If I had more, then I would put more. Trae Young is probably the one that makes me the most nervous because of the inefficiencies. And, sometimes he'll give you a 9 for 25, wind up with 28 points because of a bunch of threes and free throws, but not quite 30, obviously. But the plus 750 is very tantalizing and interesting. And I feel like the upside might be worth a few dollars.
Okay. Very interesting. I know all the black people in the show is like, of course Brian went along with Team Light Skin there. Of course he throw a couple dollars. Nah,
but
Brian.
wait, D-Book, right? He might be half Puerto Rican, right?
Devin Booker is a Latino also.
There you go. That's what I thought.
Now,
That's why I knew.
Hold on. According to Wikipedia, he's part Mexican.
Okay.
And I've also seen him being listed as Puerto Rican. I don't know. I'm almost 100% sure he's Mexican. Look, I rep for my Mexican brothers and sisters too. You know what I'm saying? But I like Devin Booker is also, he's one of us in some sort of way as well.
And Murph was like, he's not one of us. I'm not taking this bet. That's what he said. He's like, I'm not.
I didn't say that.
Wait, and Zach Levine, what is he? He's mixed, right?
He mixed, yeah. He's
Probably.
Mixed.
All right.
Look, man, it's a light skin trio. That's why I thought the parlay was interesting. They took 3 light skinned brothers and was like, put them all in this parlay.
Hey man, I'm rooting for him though. I'm rooting for him.
Yo, Murph, they appreciate the support. Murph is just not.
Yo, you see our man Eric Chegg? He said Booker's the next Chris Humphries because he got Kendall Jenner. So
But Eric wasn't even there. Eric wasn't even there last week when I was Googling at the end of the show. I was like, yo, because y'all told me Chris Humphries was black. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? I didn't know he was black. Look at him. You know what I'm saying? And then I looked it up. I was like, oh shit, his dad is like black. So now, because we were trying to figure out the odds of who's Kim Kardashian gonna date next. And then off mic, I said it's gonna be Cam Newton. So we'll see. I'd like to put some money on that. We'll see what happens. Shout out to Cam Newton, though. He did a good thing this week.
And shout out to our viewers. If you find the odds in that, please let us know. All right, moving on to the next parlay, which I think this one's a little interesting. Steph Curry and Dame Lillard both to record 5+ threes made. Now, Steph is averaging exactly 5 threes made per game on the season. Dame is averaging 4.1, right at 4 threes made per game on the season. So this is interesting. Odds here plus 210. Are you tantalized by this in the least in 2-to-1 odds or no? What do you say, Murph?
I mean, they almost averaged that. I think it could happen, but it's just the odds are not good enough for me. That plus 210. What am I really getting back? For that, they could easily not make it. One of them could get 5+. One of them might not. It takes a good game to have 5+ threes. So I'm going to pass on this one.
Pass on this one for Murph. Two in a row he's passing on. Brian, what about this? Your boy Dame Lillard, he can go off possibly. He's a player that's seeing a lot of action in player props. Dame Lillard tonight. And Steph Curry's been amazing from downtown this season. Do you like this? Would you put a little dollars on this parlay?
I'm in the same boat as Murph pretty much. Like the plus 210 is just not high enough for me. I would hope that for something like this, 5 threes a game each, that it would be more of a return, but it's just not tantalizing enough for me. The argument on the other side would be like, since it's only plus 210, why don't you actually put a few dollars on it? But for me, it's just like, it's 5 threes each person. It's not something I'm going to jump at plus 210. It would have to be higher for me.
All right, come on, Gerard. Are you jumping in on this or are you out?
Look, we know they're both capable of hitting 5+ threes a game. There's no question about that. But the 3 is such a high variance thing. I mean, Steph was 1 of 10 his last game from 3. Like, it's just one of those things where, like, yeah, they might still get their points, but they'll end up going 2 of 9 or like, because again, it's such a high variance thing. For me, the odds, I'm with the guys. It's not enough. If it was plus 3 something or plus 4, all right, yeah. But at plus 210, nah, not worth it.
I don't think this is a parlay that's going to probably see a lot of action for everything that you guys are saying. The odds just not being high enough. I agree, Gerard. If it was probably around that 350, 400, you might get some more action on this. But I just don't see it. And there's a world in which you could see Steph hitting 8 threes against the Hornets tonight.
Sure.
And Dame, somehow the Lakers defense comes back and he hits 2, and then you're pissed that you threw a bunch of money down. But
I mean, and they could also both go 10 for 12 from 3, right? Because like they're that good. It's just, but it's such a weird variance thing. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's definitely was an interesting one to talk about there. All right, next parlay: Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chris Paul, and Brian's favorite center, Rudy Gobert, all to record a double-double. Odds for this could be a little tantalizing if you want to play this, plus 825. Brian, we know how much you love the Jazz and love Rudy Gobert. I think you probably have the most confidence in him getting the double-double here. Are the other two guys, how do you feel about that in terms of them hitting the double-double to get this parlay?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the one that makes me nervous here in terms of getting a double-double. Now, Chris Paul, I'm confident in. Rudy Gobert, he better get a fucking double-double against the Miami Heat, who are one of the worst rebounding teams in the league, who might not have Bam, and Kelly Olynyk is a stretch four. He better get a double-double. Otherwise, Shaq is going to say some shit next Thursday that is going to be hilarious and whatever. But yeah, he's the one that I feel most confident in. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man, like, he is a triple-double threat. But he is somebody who typically will wind up with like a 25, 7, and 6 or something along those lines if he's going to have a great night. And his teammates, as Eric Chang says, I'm not going to say they're bums, but it's hard for him to get the 10 assists or the 10 rebounds. So I would probably stay away from this. The plus 825, though, I think this is about right where it should be. But still, I think I don't think SGA is going to be the one to pull this through. So I'm gonna keep my money here.
All right, SGA is not the one to pull it through. Eric Cheng says his teammates are also bums. He does like his points prop over 24.5. That's where I'd be confident in him as well, too. Gerard, what do you say about this? I'm kind of with Brian. Like, yeah, Rudy Gobert's got to get this double-double here. What about the guards here? It's particularly SGA. You was concerned about SGA as Brian is?
I'm concerned about SGA and Chris Paul, and I love the point guard. Look, Rudy's going to get his double-double, no problem. I'm not worried about that. But look, Chris might just get 8 assists, right? And then now what, right? Like it's very possible. Not only that, to Brian's point about SGA, look, you're relying on Lou Dort, Darius Baisley. Like, look, they could have good games because we've seen them do it. But if they don't, he ain't getting his 10 assists, right? So, nah, stay away from me.
So that is a no for you. Murph, are you in? Is it 825 tickling fancy? Does it get the betting juices flowing for this parlay? How about this one?
No, it's another one I'm going to stay away from. The odds are high, but yeah, I just can't. I can't do it. Gobert's the only one who I trust at all with this one. Yes, Chris Paul could do it. It's been a long time since SGA had a double-double. If you go back and look, it's been at least probably about 10 games. So I'm going to stay away from this one. Gobert, like I said, I'm confident in, but the other two, nah.
Wow. Nobody tantalized by the odds on this one. But I'm gonna also join you guys. Yeah, I would absolutely stay away from this one. I could see Chris Paul 9 assists, 8 assist game. Don't trust SGA to get those assists, and neither Chris Paul or him would even say maybe they have a great rebounding game. I don't see that happening. So.
Yeah, this ain't Russ who's stat padding, right? We don't got Russ out here.
Yeah, you throw Westbrook in as a swap him for one of the guards, and now I'm a lot more intrigued. But this is one I'd stay away. I see why it's tantalizing, just because of the potential return, but the likelihood of it happening, you can't go with this one. All right, our last parlay of the night. Some players we talked about before. This one I think is maybe the most tantalizing with the possibility of this happening. I think you guys might agree with me. LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Dame Lillard all to score 30-plus points. Odds for this are at plus 625. Gerard, what say this to you? We talked about how Steph and Dame can light it up. You said LeBron looks tired. I agree. But, maybe he's motivated tonight on ESPN. Lakers need a win. Seems like all the stars could be aligned possibly for all these guys to get 30-plus. What do you say?
Yeah, so at plus 625, I love this number. Of course, LeBron makes me nervous because, again, that jumper ain't falling. But it is an ESPN game. He knows how to – listen, what LeBron's very good at is playing for the crowd and knowing, all right, this is a big-time game. Let me summon some extra whatever it is that I got. So I like this at plus 625. Dame and Steph are high usage guys, somewhere in the 30s. And no Anthony Davis, LeBron's doing all the usage tonight. I like it. 625. Put some money down on this.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. So Stellar 2121 says it's an easy bet. You put 100 on that. I like nice one. Keep it 100 and put it on that. And Eric Chang makes a great point. Portland doesn't guard anybody.
They do
so
not.
if there's ever a time for LeBron to go off, I can absolutely see that. Brian, are you confident you guys going to be cooking in the 3-point land for this tonight?
Yeah, I actually like this one. This is one I'm going to take. Plus 65 is good value. Steph Curry, I'm confident that he could get 30. Damian Lillard, I'm probably the most confident in that he could get 30, given that he's playing the Lakers without Dennis Schroeder. And I'm also very confident in LeBron to get that 30 because they're playing Portland, who doesn't really defend well. He's kind of out on the island, as we already mentioned a couple times throughout the show. So this is a parlay that I actually like a lot, and I'm going to take this one at plus 625. That's also great value. If I had a concern, it would probably be Curry more than anyone else, just in case, like if he has an off night or anything like that, or if he winds up with 27. I feel most confident in LeBron and Lillard just going off against each other. Curry is the one that's probably gives me a cause to hesitate a little bit, but I'm still taking this.
All right. What about you, Murph? You taking this, or you out on all the parlays tonight?
No, I'm going to live dangerously and take this one. I think this is the best of the group. Like you said, plus 625, very nice payout there. All three of these guys we know can score 30 plus any given night. LeBron, even though his ass should probably be resting because he should just wait till AD comes back also, and just as long as they can sneak him to playoffs. But no, LeBron's he's out there, he's gonna put 110% in. He's gonna try to win this game. Yeah, I think they have I think it'll be a close game throughout, that they'll have a shot to win. So he's going to try to do it, not lose 5 straight. So he's going to do whatever he can scoring wise. So I think he'll get over 30 points. And then, Lillard, same thing, same game. He's going to try to put on a show. And Steph, if it just comes down to Steph, and I agree with Brian, he's the wild card a little bit here. But it never hurts to put a little money on Steph and hope that he shows up, especially his father will be in the gym commentating for the Charlotte Hornets. So I think it's a good shot here.
Yeah, I like this one too, guys. I probably wouldn't have liked it as much if I didn't know Schroeder was coming back. And I see some of the guys in the chat talking about that. I think that makes a huge difference. LeBron not having to have the ball all the time. It should give him some easier scoring opportunities. So I like it, and I think he knows that the team needs a win. I do like LeBron to play well tonight. I think we'll see that, even though I'm with you, Murph. He probably should be resting. But I do like him to play tonight. And so I think Schroeder coming back is huge for the offense, and I think that'll help LeBron. Steph, I could be worried about where that game goes with Golden State. Do they blow out Charlotte? Is this not even competitive at home? You don't want to see Steph with 26 points through 3 quarters, and then they sit him. Because Gerard always talks about that. That would be the luck that we'd have betting on this parlay. So it's an interesting one, but I probably think this is the most tantalizing and maybe best bet in terms of parlays for the night. All right, those are our parlays for this Friday evening. We're going to move on to our last segment like we always do. Keep it 100, where Brian finds a way for some ridiculous bet and will probably maybe figure out if he's going to bet on Cam Newton to end up with somebody, or is it more likely that he's going to put another kid in his place? I don't know which one that would be. Brian, I'm going to start with you, since we always know you have the most ridiculous bets in the world. Absolutely. And yeah, you're rubbing your beard right now. So what ridiculous bet have you thought up now in terms of your Keep It 100?
I'm going to start with $49 on.
And hold on. I'm sorry. I did not. Just for people, if you're new to the show, Keep It 100. We all have $100, and we decide how we are going to spend the money on various bets, or one bet, however you want to spend it for Friday night games. Brian, go ahead with your $49 bet.
49, and this all adds up to 100. I've proven this mathematically. I was just double checking to make sure. But all right, $49 on Damian Lillard cursing after a 3-pointer tonight. We know that's gonna happen. 15 on the Booker Trae Young, the light skin 30+ points parlay, we'll call it.
Of course.
That we mentioned before. 15 on the other one with LeBron, Curry, and Lillard. 15 on the Jimmy Butler triple-double if Bam does not play. $5 on Jeremy Grant with 30 points against the Sacramento Kings in a game that none of us will be watching, but could be fun to bet on because it's Pistons and Kings. And then $1, my last dollar left, on a kerfuffle between Damian Lillard and who else? Alex Caruso.
I could see that happening. That'd be actually I can totally see that happening. Totally see it. It's always got to be a kerfuffle at the end for Brian.
A black
Mark,
dude and a white dude, always.
Yeah, look at you just doing your best for race relations in this country. Murph, how are you spending your $100 on this wonderful Friday evening?
Okay, I'm going to break it up into $24, $25 bets.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, nice and easy. I'm going to put 25 on the parlay we just talked about. That the Bron, Steph, was it Bron, Steph? Yeah, Bron, Steph, and Dame are all getting 30 plus. That would be a nice payout at that plus 625. Then I'm going to go to games, and I'm going to put 25 on the on the Portland money line to win that game in LA outright. Then I'm going to put 25 on the Toronto Raptors. Minus 6.5 is what I have versus Houston. Toronto is a real team out here. They're trying to make the playoffs. They started off slow, playing much better of late. Houston Rockets, there's no fear. The Houston Rockets put no fear in Toronto's heart at all. I see Toronto taking care of business there. And then I like Phoenix to bounce back and take care of business at Chicago, also minus 6.5. So another 25 on that. And I just want to take a flyer. If I had more money, I would put it on the Hornets to show and prove. They actually won at Phoenix a couple of days ago, and now they are at Golden State. They lost. They lost to Golden State, a week or so ago. It's kind of a revenge game. They're playing well. I could see them at least making it a close game at Golden State tonight.
I can absolutely see that. I can see that. All right, good ways of spending your money. Nothing ridiculous and no kerfuffles. Gerard, how are you spending your $100 on this Friday?
I just want to let the betting folks know out there, watch out for Toronto. Their whole coaching staff and Pascal Siakam are in the health and safety protocol. So just FYI.
Oops.
Just a little FYI. It may not matter because Houston's terrible, but just an FYI for you. I'm going to go 25 on the Pacers money line. I liked Murph. We talked about that earlier. I was like, you know what? Like Indiana, I like, again, defensively, they can at least guard Boston. I don't know what's going on there.
Plus 295 there, folks.
There we go.
Sorry, excuse me, not plus 117. My bad.
I like it. SGA, there's a point prop with him, 22.5. I'm going to go the over there. Another player prop, DeMontis Sabonis, 25, 10, and 5, plus 333. I'm going to throw 25 on that. And I'm going to throw 25 on the parlay, LeBron, Steph, Lillard to get 30 plus.
Okay, not bad. I'm just doing mine in two. I'm doing two bets tonight. And for the first bet, it's going to be a game we have not talked about, and probably two teams nobody thought we'd talk about: the Sacramento Kings and the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons, they're just terrible. They've lost 9 in a row. Just came off getting their asses whooped by the Knicks, but things got to change sometime, right?
I mean,
at some point they're going to win, and I just think it's a tale of two bad teams. But I think the Pistons are worse. Sacramento on the road in Detroit, they're favored actually -2. I'm putting $50 on the Kings. I think they're gonna end this right here. I think they'll get it done. So here we go. Actually, I'm switching up. I'm putting this 50 on that. I'm going to put 25 on the Blazers on the money line, plus 175. Like Murph talked about earlier, not only do I like them to keep this game close, I think they can win against the Lakers. They definitely can. I think they're just a better team right now with all the struggles the Lakers are going through. And I still think the Lakers, even with Schroeder coming back, they're going to still have to figure some things out. And I haven't liked how their late game execution has been. My last $25 is not going to go in a fight the way Brian would throw it in terms of using his money. But I'm going to go with the last parlay we talked about that we all like, the LeBron, Steph, and Dame, all to score 30-plus points. The payout's too good to not just throw some money on that. So by plus 625, 25 there, 25, as I said before, on the Blazers, and $50, which you'll never hear me say again this season, on the Sacramento Kings.
True.
So, yeah, you never hear me say that again this season.
Things are terrible.
Yeah, and Eric, even with Halliburton out, I still will put 50 on the Kings because Detroit is that bad. Like that is they're just awful. They're just awful. So all right, Eric, I see you say you like
a bad time for Halliburton to be out because he was playing. He actually stepped it up the last few games, playing really well.
Yeah, he was playing.
We got some questions, don't we?
Yeah, we got some questions in here. Eric Chang says, "What happens if the Lakers, I believe you're talking about, they lose 5 in a row, like I said, absolutely nothing. LeBron and AD in the playoffs is all that matters to them. They know they can get a run of W's once AD is back post All-Star break. I think we all would agree. We've talked about the fact that LeBron should be resting. Murph has said that. And AD, I feel like, look, you keep him away as long as you need to until that is recovered. Take it from myself and Murph, especially Murph. Murph has tore both of his Achilles. I've tore one. We know it's not easy to come back, even if you're just trying to do regular, ordinary people stuff.
Walk to the bodega. It's not
walk to the bodega is hard. So for high-level athletes trying to get back and play and win a championship, look, man, anything connected with Achilles or calf, you just got to rest that. Do you guys are you concerned? I guess it's a good time for us to talk maybe a little bit about concern factors in the league. And are you concerned about the Lakers? Are you concerned about the Celtics? I mean, we know what Gerard's mantra is here. Are you concerned about either of those two, legendary teams throughout the NBA? Are you concerned about them?
Well, the Celtics, yeah, because I thought they'd be a lot better. But let's be real. Like, they're not a title contender anyway. And, Danny Ainge has got to start taking some blame for that shit. Like, that roster is not well constructed. And it's Danny's fault, right? So let's focus on that. The Lakers, I'm not as concerned. What I am concerned about for these teams like the Lakers who have championship aspirations are where you get placed in the seeding, right? Because if you want to get to the NBA Finals, I don't want to have to play LA and Utah, right? Or LA, Utah, and Denver, right? Even as bad as Denver is. Because all these teams are going to do is make you expend more energy than you have to or want to, right? Like, you want to try to figure out, that's why it's so important to get that 1 seed and get that right. So you avoid certain matchups. It's a little early to think about that. But if I was the Lakers, it'd be like, all right, like it would make our job that much harder if we have to go through all these teams to get to the NBA Finals again.
Murph, are you concerned about the Lakers? You see the Golden Eagle 99. He says the Lakers are definitely a concern, a team you should be concerned about. Or for you, is about them just getting healthy and maybe the playoff positioning as they get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not so worried. I think they're clearly the best team in the West, or they're favored in the West, and I believe that they're the only real threat to them, in my opinion, are the Clippers. Okay, so to me, it doesn't matter, how hard their road is to the finals. I wouldn't worry about their seed. Now, if I were Utah or somebody like that, then I don't want to have to play the Lakers and the Clippers. I get that. But for the Lakers, where you would be favored against any team you played against, I think seeding shouldn't matter that much. So I think they should rest up as much as possible. I'm exaggerating saying that LeBron shouldn't play until AD comes back, but I think he, playing too many minutes, playing 40 minutes a game, trying to win, trying your best to win every game and have a triple-double every game. I think he needs to chill with that to give them the best chance, once they get to the playoffs.
What about you, Brian? Are you concerned about the Lakers?
I'm not really concerned about the Lakers. I just think it's a COVID thing. Like, COVID's knocked out Dennis Schroeder, who's an integral part of what they do. I think on paper, they're actually better this year than they were last year. They're just smaller. They need to get somebody who's a big who could actually play. I mean, JaVale McGee is somebody they could end up bringing back because it looks like he's, going to be looking for a team soon. Right. I don't think they have enough to get like an Andre Drummond, but even so, I don't think they necessarily have to go that route. They just need, some fortification down low because they're only 2 guys outside of Anthony Davis who are playing those minutes at center are Montrezl Harrell and a 36-year-old Marc Gasol. And that's something that, they need to, sort of fix. Other than that, though, I'm not really worried about them at all. I'm a little more worried about Boston, obviously. Their roster construction, I think, is a little bit better than people are sort of giving credit for on paper, but they've just vastly underperformed, especially guys on the interior, the bench, and Kemba Walker, who obviously was coming back from injury. Right now, it's a 2-man team. They miss Marcus Smart a lot, and they need Kemba Walker to be better, and they need their bench to be better. But even so, they just don't have the guys from the inside who are really scaring you, and that's going to hurt because you need that to go against somebody like the Nets, because what we're looking at right now with the Nets and the Sixers, who I think are on a different tier in the Eastern Conference, is that the Nets have all these dudes who could score. Philly has some dudes who could stop them. Plus, they have a guy, Joel Embiid, who's going to be unstoppable regardless of who Brooklyn throws at him. So it's a matchup that we're sort of fantasizing about. Boston doesn't really fall into that. Maybe if they get Andre Drummond, to Eric's point in the comments, then there's something that could be had there. But we haven't really seen Andre Drummond play a lot of important basketball games in his career. So I question like how that's actually going to work. If there's a team that it could work on, though, to be fair to him, it should probably be Boston with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kevin Walker, and Marcus Smart. But I'm not so sure. I think that's the guy that they should get, though, and it'll help their chances. But
Man,
I don't
Brian,
really trust Boston that much.
Stop giving Danny Ainge all the free pass, man.
Here we go.
Stop giving Danny Ainge a free pass. I'm got all these draft picks over here about how much of a genius Danny Ainge is. Really, Danny? How much of a genius are you? All we hear about is almost trades you make. Oh, they almost got this person. They almost got this person. How come you ain't get nobody there?
No, that's corny. Like I hate when reports come out about that shit about them almost getting Kawhi and almost getting Paul George and all.
You ain't
bullshit.
Almost get shit.
But
they're still blaming Kemba. They're still blaming Kemba now.
But that's what I'm saying. And then
they blaming Kyrie. Wick came out.
Kyrie, I meant.
The CEO. Kyrie. Look, real quick. The CEO or whoever the fuck.
Yeah,
he came out.
Respect.
Yeah, whatever. He came out and said Kyrie Irving is basically like the reason or whatever. They did better without him twice. He got hurt and they went to the Eastern Conference Finals and then he left and they went back to the Eastern Conference Finals. With him, they went to the semis. What the fuck is he talking about?
You know what that sounds like? And Gerard, you're going to feel me on this. A lot of cover for the great Brad Stevens, right? Nothing directed to Brad Stevens. Nothing coming at Coach. To Brian's point, Brian's right. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals twice without Kyrie. To put the blame on Kyrie now is ridiculous. And Brian's other point about the fact that they constantly like to put out there and it's leaked in the media that they're so close to these trades. Who cares? Close without
get shit.
Yeah,
honestly, I could probably argue, and Gerard might be with me on this. I could probably argue that those fake sort of leaks about them almost getting all these guys is probably the reason Danny Ainge hasn't got fired yet.
1,000%.
A lot of other guys,
media,
a lot of other dudes. If none of that shit gets out, and a lot of other dudes, if at this point, 15 and 17, after falling off in the Eastern Conference, falling off since the Eastern Conference Finals, letting Gordon Hayward go and all that stuff. For a big trade exception that they have yet to use, and they're probably going to get Andre Drummond for it. And Gordon Hayward's probably better than Andre Drummond at this point. Like that's a guy who typically gets fired sooner as opposed to later. The championship was so long ago, and those constant playoff runs were so long ago that Danny Ainge hasn't really, other than like recently, hasn't really like done anything to where it's like, oh my God, like the Celtics could actually win the championship.
Look, they got to start looking at the fact that you are now on the Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown time clock, right? These are two of the best wings in the league. And what are they, 21 and younger, 22, whatever. They're babies, and they still ain't even anywhere near their prime yet. Yo, Dan, you better figure this shit out, my guy.
Well, yeah, and interesting. I want to see what you guys take on this comment that we got from Soul Stealer 2121. Thank you for checking in. He said, bold opinion, Drummond on the Warriors would make them an instant NBA title contender again.
You're putting too much faith in Andre Drummond. To Brian's point, he has never played any meaningful basketball in his life. Let me tell you right now, is he the kind of dude that can handle Draymond screaming his head off at him when he messes up on a rotation or misses assignment? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, he would make them very interesting, though.
Yeah,
interesting for sure.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, you know, Dexter and I know a couple people who hang out with Andre Drummond. And that could be sort of interesting if he were to go to the Dexter smiling because he knows what I'm talking about. But like, if Andre Drummond were to go to the West Coast, like, you know, he might enjoy himself also. I'm not sure.
Are you saying that he might like that sticky icky a little bit? No.
Isn't it legal now in the NBA?
They ain't even testing for that now. We just
and I want to say this. I don't mean that in a bad way. From everything I've heard, Andre Drummond's a great guy.
Good dude. Yeah. I think Andre Drummond could enjoy his time in the Bay. I would say that. I could see him enjoying his time in the Bay. I want to talk real quick, guys. Another team that maybe is sort of, I don't want to say they're flying under the radar, but I find it interesting. We didn't talk about them tonight, but we've talked about it personally in our chat, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay? The Milwaukee Bucks, Brian's tired of watching them.
Stop putting them on national TV.
He's tired of seeing them on national TV. He wants everybody to be forced to pay a league pass subscription if you want to see the Bucks. And Murph, I'm going to ask you this first because a lot of, I think, where the Bucks went this year or could go this year had to do with the development of Giannis. And Giannis's jumper looks poor as it has before, right? It hasn't improved. Gerard, you texted us last night and said he's going to get all these open jumpers in the playoffs. The teams are putting up walls. He can't do anything about it. He doesn't seem to have any other options. Like, should we be disappointed in Giannis and the Bucks? Because what is the ceiling for them this year? I mean, some people are going to say NBA championship, but I don't see it.
I still think the ceiling is a finals appearance. I don't think they'll get there. I wouldn't be surprised if they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. They don't look good right now, but it's a long season. I think we have to be patient. As far as Giannis, no, I'm not disappointed. I mean, he's basically out here practicing. To me, he's just practicing his J in regular season. You know what I'm saying? His J was actually worse. I saw a couple of J's last night that were splash. I was like, holy, what's going on? Yeah, the next one might have been a brick, but still, he's out there just practicing. He's like, whatever.
About practice?
Yeah, he's out there practicing like it's a pickup game, and hopefully by the time the playoff comes, he might be able to shoot. You never know.
Here's what I'll say about the Milwaukee Bucks. They are clearly trying some different things defensively. You can see it, right? Not doing as much of the drop coverage anymore, right? And it's going to take them some time because that's the whole system that Bud had them playing for the first couple of years, right? Now they have to unlearn all that and do something different. So it looks like defensively they're slipping, but they're actually trying different things. Look, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to offensively, is Giannis miscast in the role that he is come playoff time? And I believe that he is. Look, we all know about Giannis's work ethic, but I've said this before. Just because you shoot 10 million hours of jump shots don't mean you're going to get good at shooting jump shots. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to all of a sudden be good at it. It might just be that mechanically and how his body is and the release, he's never going to be a 38% three-point shooter. And guess what? A lot of people ain't 38% three-point shooters. That's fucking elite. All right. It is what it is. But maybe they need to figure out, all right, if Giannis isn't this like jump shooting dude, what are the different things offensively we can do to still utilize him because he's still a weapon, right? How do we make him fully weaponized within what we want to do offensively?
I'm with our guy, Eric Cheng, here in that I still don't believe that they could win, as Eric Cheng said, in the playoffs until Giannis can shoot. Unless you do what you're talking about, Gerard, which is utilize him in a different way. Maybe, I don't know, use him more down low in a place where he should be able to dominate. Murph, you shaking your head to that?
The narrative is shaky to me. I mean, what are we talking? I mean, Shaq couldn't shoot, right? So what do? They put him with Kobe fucking Bryant. You know what I'm saying? He started winning. Maybe, does he have Harden on his team? Does he have Kyrie and Harden on his team? Does he have
Chris Middleton?
Does he have Kevin Durant on his team? You know what I'm saying? Like he needs help. He needs like any other title contender has two superstars. He's by himself. He got some maybe all-star guys next to him. It doesn't. And calling him a weapon is, come on. I mean, he's just a weapon. You go check the numbers. Come on.
I said fully weaponize him. Fully weaponize him. We want him to be his optimal best.
Well, yeah,
I thought you were taking a shot at him right there.
No, fully weaponize him. No, fully weaponize him.
Right. I think we're saying that he's not necessarily being used in the best situation for him and his skill set right now. And I think that's fair. I also think it's fair though, Murph. I'm not disagreeing with your point that he does not necessarily have the best supporting cast next to him. I think you're right about that 100%. Maybe if he had another playmaker, maybe you then would be able to weaponize that skill set a little bit better to use
like a great playmaker.
Right, a great playmaker. Because Middleton has been good. Let's give credit where credit's due. Middleton's been damn good this year, but do you believe in Chris Middleton in the playoffs? Is he a dude that's putting
more than Giannis
and other guys? I mean, that's a whole nother thing there.
Look, we all saw the Heat series last year. We knew who was more comfortable going against the Heat.
Do you see the smile on his face?
Between Middleton. Look, here's the thing.
Man.
I think guarded him with four people.
I think when you're looking at the Eastern Conference just as a whole, to go back to where Milwaukee sort of stands in all this, I think there's clearly tier one is clearly just Brooklyn and Philly. Then beyond that, and tier two is like all those other Milwaukee, Boston, Miami, Indiana, Toronto, and whoever else I'm missing from that. Like, who's in that group, basically. I don't know if Milwaukee could separate themselves from that group this season. I just don't see the pathway to where I'm going to feel comfortable taking them in a playoff series against Brooklyn or Philadelphia Brooklyn, I'm still waiting to see on, and Philly, I'm still waiting to see on because I don't really trust anybody fully. To my point last week. But, Milwaukee, I just don't really trust them against like a lot of these teams in the Eastern Conference. Not a lot of these teams in the Eastern Conference, but the teams that I think are at the top of the Eastern Conference. I don't see how they leapfrog them by just getting better on their roster. I don't know what addition could they make. I don't know what move is there for them. I feel like this roster is just going to mostly be their roster. And right now, that's their, sort of big three with Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday. And really, their fourth best player has been Bobby Portis this season.
Brian Fonseca All-Star.
Who's the bigger disappointment, Boston or Milwaukee? And if you put those three stars together, would they be nice?
What? Tatum, Brown, and
Giannis?
Giannis.
Oh shit!
Would they be a contender?
I mean, obviously.
Yeah,
you know who,
figure that out, Danny Ainge.
you know who Milwaukee could have used? Could have used James Harden. Think how good your team would be if you had James Harden as your playmaker, right? That would have been a lot better. But I mean, let's keep it 100. Ain't no Milwaukee, and I don't care what Joel Embiid does, because if that's your only player who can score, because Tobias Harris in the playoffs, we know what Ben Simmons does. Ain't nobody beating
if Simmons defends, but here's the thing:
ain't nobody beating a healthy Nets team, because you are not stopping them three dudes in a best out of 7. You're not.
We'll see. If Simmons mans up and plays defense, then it'll give you a chance. The problem with Philly is that they don't have Jimmy Butler to carry them in the playoffs, so we'll see how that goes.
The problem with Philly is not enough offense, and Embiid's great, but you got to still get him the ball. Who is initiating on their own on the wing, creating offense on Philly?
Well, it looks like that
Tobias Harris.
No,
right.
But here's the thing you have to understand. Here's the thing you have to understand, though. It looks like they're probably going to acquire Kyle Lowry, and that's something that I think would help them a lot in the Philly. That's something that will help them a lot in the playoffs. We're starting to see.
I highly doubt Masai trades Lowry in the division. Highly doubt he does that.
Masai, I don't think Masai cares about that shit if he can get some good compensation.
Except for who and for what?
No, but this
what being maybe any future pick. So
Kyle Lowry's long been in trade rumors, and we're starting to see more reports. I think one of them was even from Keith Pompey, that they're sort of like really talking and escalating those deals and closing in, potentially closing in on something there.
I trust
Pompey.
University of Pittsburgh guy. I trust.
Is Pompey a pick guy?
I don't know. I don't know what they would give up, but like, how valuable? I mean, I understand Kyle Lowry's valuable, but I don't think they're fucking gonna give up like that, but so much for him.
Kyle Lowry is very valuable. See, he's that dude who
he's shooting 38%, and they're 16-0 in the last 16 games he hasn't played.
His value ain't in the stat sheet. You know that he ain't a stat sheet value guy, right? Okay, so let's say you got to give up some shooting. What if you got to give up Seth Curry? That ain't gonna help.
Right, but
that
they're
ain't good.
16-0.
Danny Green, that ain't gonna be good.
16-0 in the last 60 games he hasn't played.
Listen,
like
man,
it doesn't.
Again,
like that's a crazy stat that
I
you don't see for stars
I don't
of that
see what
caliber.
the Sixers have to give up for him. I just don't see it.
They got to give up. Yeah, they got to give up more than
But we know they have
hurt their
draft
shooting.
capital. We know they at least have some draft capital that they were willing to part with in the James Harden trade that didn't obviously go down.
But remember,
they
it's
weren't
going to be
give Morey
draft
James
capital
Harden.
and salary, because the salaries have to match. So
It's going to take.
Who else you giving up salary wise?
It's gonna take Maxey. If you're gonna want one young player and maybe Thibault.
Probably. Here's the thing: they have Daryl Morey, and Daryl Morey is the guy that kind of figures this shit out. You know what I mean? Like, Daryl Morey is somebody who's going to figure out. Maybe they get a third team involved. I don't know.
If they're going to give up Curry and Tyrese
the Kyle Lowry teams right now are Philly, Miami, and the Clippers, and I think Philly would be more likely to get him from that group. I actually think the Clippers could probably do something. The problem is they don't have any draft picks left because they gave them all away for Paul George.
I'll tell you what, he goes to the Clippers, and boy,
I'd like to.
That's that point guard they need.
That would be serious.
That would be something. All right, guys. Everybody, we thank everybody for watching. Does anybody have any last questions? Sorry, Jamas Blaster. I'm glad you went back and checked earlier in our show that we did talk about the Pacers and the Celtics, and you bet on the Celtics, which is not what a lot of us said that we would do, but we kind of hope it works out for you, though. If there's no more questions for this week, next Friday, there will be no NBA games because of the All-Star break. So we'll let you guys know about scheduling. We probably will do something on Thursday night instead, but we will let you guys know. We've seen there's some talk about us maybe doing something during or talking about some of the bets during the All-Star game. I'm sure there'll be a lot. Dunk contest, three-point contest, even though they're doing the dunk contest at halftime, the three-point shootout before. all this nonsense they're doing. We'll definitely talk about that next week. Eric Chang is Obi Toppin, dunk contest winner. That was announced today. That Obi Toppin.
Who else is in it?
I haven't seen
That's
the
what I
whole
was gonna
field.
say. He's dunking by himself right now.
I saw Obi just by himself right now. And I mean, I think it's good, which means the Knicks could win something this year, which would make me happy.
Zion, stop fucking playing.
Edwards got to get in
fucking dunk contest, man.
Yeah, Edwards
got to get in there.
Nice. Edwards be nice. Who said send Elford?
Zion need to save his knees. Don't do that.
Yeah. We don't need Zion wasting them.
Zion is just now getting it all, like putting it all together. Don't
exactly.
Don't
No dunk contest. Zion, stay away from that shit.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know what the schedule will be.
Let them do it on an 8-foot rim.
We do next week. Wow. What we'll do next week. So we'll definitely nothing next Friday. We'll probably Thursday. We'll see if we do something around the All-Star game. Because obviously in that game there's gonna be a lot of prop bets and crazy nonsense. For those of you that choose to watch the All-Star game, as a programmer note, we have to let you guys know we are going to be safe. None of us are going to Atlanta because that would be
not
stuff.
What are you talking about? Atlanta's wide open.
It is wide open.
That's why we ain't going.
That's why we ain't going. Not wide open enough for us to go.
The club's open and everything out there.
I feel you, but those wings in Magic City that Lou Williams posted that one time on Twitter.
Nah.
You gonna risk it all with the Magic City?
No. In like a year from now, Atlanta's not even in the list of places that I actually want to go to, like right away when shit opens up. But what do you mean why? Because Atlanta's always open. You know what I mean? Like, just establish that.
Well, it's fine. You can just take your trip to Salt Lake City, and that'll be fine.
Yo, Brian, we going to Utah, Playboy.
First place I'm going to is Canada when all this shit opens.
Where in Canada?
Can I hang out with Drake?
Toronto,
Toronto,
Montreal.
Okay.
Listen, dope cities. By the way,
I was gonna do it this year, but you know,
Eric Chang was in Park City, Utah. Had a good time snowboarding.
I saw that. He's
Park City. Park City's that's a good time.
I'm Puerto Rican. They don't got shit for us in Utah.
Yes,
bro, it's plenty for you to do it. Trust me, there's plenty for you to do in Utah.
No, they don't.
No, they do. Nah, they do.
I'm gonna be a grain of rice in Salt Lake City.
Wow. You're so mad about it. All right. Well, that's it for this edition of NBA Picks and Props. We thank everybody for joining us. Shout out to everybody who did. Good to see you back, Eric Chang. Hope you had a great time in Park City, Utah. Also, Soul Steeler 2121, you rocked the whole time. We appreciate you staying with us. Everybody that rock with us. Like I said, we'll be back next week, most likely on Thursday, to talk about it. So for those of you who came in and checked us for the first time, please subscribe to us on YouTube, the whole thing. Everybody enjoy the games this Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. And next weekend, stay away from Atlanta. You don't need to be going there. There is nothing for you to see. So for my guy, Brian Fonseca, who probably now is about to rush and tell us all that he has to go to the bathroom, Gerard Hector, who doesn't give a damn about a 40-degree day, and Murph, who keeps the energy, let's go Mets all the time. We like that. That's it for my guys for this edition of NBA Picks and Props. I'm Dexter Henry. Special thanks to our producer, Sam Coulter, and also Gregory Alcala for doing everything that they do. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all again for watching. And until next time, y'all, on NBA Picks and Props, peace.